Over the past school year, I've had the pleasure of getting to know Dave Williams fairly well as he's consistently returned to campus to support students in their creative endeavors. Dave was a business and administration and accounting major that graduated here in 1993. Upon graduation, he took an accounting job. From there, Dave bucked the traditional W&L narrative and has gone on an incredible journey. Unfortunately, I've only been given enough time to cover the highlights. Dave specializes in bootstrapping companies in a CEO or founding role, bringing expertise in market fit, growth, exit, and integration. His most recent project, BLiNQ Media, is a localized social media ad firm that was acquired in 2012. While 360i, a search marketing firm he co-founded in 1998, is now an industry leader in the digital marketing space. For Dave's work, he has been featured in the Wall Street Journal, Ad Age, and on Bloomberg TV, in addition to receiving numerous personal awards. When Dave isn't launching startups, he and his wife, Jen, have traveled from the Galapagos to the Zambezi. Please welcome me and joining to the stage, Dave Williams.
Thanks, Tucker. Hey, thank you, Tucker. Appreciate you guys having me here today. I've had the pleasure of working with Tani from the case studies that we did at the business school, and then also met with Jen. I think you got what you guys put together here is great. Excited to see so many people here, and also wanted to thank Amanda for putting this excellent program together. You guys are really lucky to have her. When I spoke to her several months ago, I was very, very impressed with what you guys are doing here. And I can totally appreciate where you guys are coming from, because having graduated from W&L, been an accounting major here at the school, I didn't know anything about advertising, really. I took some marketing courses, I studied the 5 Ps, and after that I went on to grad school for a bit, for 1-year MBA at Emory, and studied marketing. But when I got into advertising, I had actually never worked in an advertising agency before. When I was here, I didn't study technology, but I started a marketing technology firm. I hadn't worked in that agency, as I said, and started an ad agency. Didn't even realize I'd started an ad agency, but that's what I'd started. So I think where you guys are coming from as a group, from my understanding, is that you're coming from all different parts of the university. We have physics students to chemistry students to arts majors. And so I think what W&L does is creates fantastic students with great backgrounds, great interaction skills, very smart, very diverse. And that all relates very well to advertising. So I realize some of you guys may not go into advertising. Whatever you do, you're going to have to do something as it relates to selling or advertising, no matter what business you're in. So I think advertising plays a critical role, selling plays a critical role in any position, whether you're a CEO, whether you're in sales, whether you're in product, whether you're in technology. Having an understanding of this is super, super important. I have a presentation for you guys today. I'm not going to jump into it right away, but the presentation really dives into some innovations that are taking place in retail. For all of you guys, you're all consumers, you're all buying things, you're buying things on the internet, you're going to stores and you're shopping, you're going on websites, you're comparison shopping, pricing, you're figuring out recommendation engines, what are the best products to buy at the cheapest price, what are your friends like? The whole industry is changing before us. You guys are at a very interesting time in the industry where everything you've probably heard here on stage today is going to be dated if it's not already dated. I can tell you that. And these guys will say the same thing. So whatever these guys have told you, a lot of these case studies are years old, 4 years old. Some of them are a couple years old, some of them are months old. But no matter how old they are, they're old. And if it's been done, it's been done. What you guys can really bring to the table is innovation, ideas around what's new, what products are hot, what categories are growing. That's really what advertisers are looking for. Agencies are looking for people to innovate within the agency, to bring new ideas to their clients. So I had a few thoughts for you guys before we get started. I'll start the stopwatch here so I don't go too far over. I'll get in trouble with you guys. How many of you guys have seen Mad Men? Okay. So just imagine Mad Men, but in the year 2015. What is that? What picture comes to mind for you guys? How many of you guys have seen the show Silicon Valley? Okay, what if you took Mad Men and combined that with Silicon Valley? What does that create for kind of an interesting career opportunity or for an interesting career right out of school? For some of you might think that's awesome. Some of you might think, wow, that's crazy. I would never want that in my life. But what I can tell you is that that's what this advertising world is all about. It's Silicon Valley meets Mad Men. And the whole world is changing right now. And you guys coming into this industry, even when I started in it back in 1998, launched my last business in 2008, everything is changing so quickly with innovation, technology, Google, Facebook, YouTube's old school, Snapchat. I mean, all these different companies out there, and the innovation and change that's happening is very, very exciting. You know, when you work in New York ad business, you might think you go in and you wear a suit and you look at these guys, wow, they're all wearing suits and they're all wearing ties. And this looks like a really boring industry, you know? From what you see on TV, it's a little different. But what I can tell you is advertising is an extension of your life here at W&L. It's hard work. You're gonna work your asses off. It's a really, really hard business. You have to live the brand, really understand the brand. You have to build relationships with your clients the same way you build relationships with your fraternity brothers, sorority sisters, your professors. You're gonna have a relationship with them that's closer probably than any relationship you have here at school. And that's if you wanna be successful. The guys that are successful, I can tell you the people that are here on stage, that's what they've done with their careers. You know, tell John, he lives the brand. He lives his clients. He works very hard. He's a social guy. He understands this stuff. He's very strategic. He's out in front of the industry. That's what creates success in this industry. And it's not just knowing advertising, but bringing different disciplines to the industry in some sort of meaningful and interesting way. The one thing I always like to tell people when they start working at 360i or BLiNQ, the first thing you've got to understand in advertising is that one is you can't take this stuff too seriously. Okay, and this all seems very serious stuff, and you guys are sitting here and you're paying to go to school. But let me tell you, in advertising, as soon as you take it too seriously is when you're not going to be doing a good job. In advertising, it's all about realizing no one's ever died because of advertising. You know, that might seem kind of crazy, but no one's ever died because of advertising. So whatever you do, whatever thoughts you have, whatever crazy stuff, you're going to tell the client how bad their stuff is. That's what people want to hear. You know, maybe someone's lost their job because of it. Maybe you've got the wrong idea. But people don't want to have the yes man in the advertising business. They want people that are going to push the boundaries, bring new ideas, tell them that they're wrong, come up with new and innovative ideas, even if you're not right all the time. Most advertising's wrong. Nothing, they say 90% of all advertising doesn't work. So what you're trying to find is not the other 90. You're not trying to find the 90%. You're trying to find that 10% or that 1%. So if you're telling people they're wrong, most of the time they are wrong. You got to find the ideas that are going to work and make it right. The only way you're going to do that is by going out on a limb, like taking your tie off, taking your suit off, you know, whatever you need to do. Have a couple drinks with your client. You go out, take your client out fishing on a boat and talk about ideas in a situation that's out of the office. Get out of the boardroom, take them on a walk around Washington Square Park. You know, you do things that are out of the box. That's where you're going to come up with the best ideas. I know that's what I've done with my career, and it's been very successful for me. But it's easy to get kind of wrapped into the corporate world, the job of advertising. What does advertising really mean? What did you study in advertising in school? I mean, the one thing I loved with Amanda's course is that, okay, we don't have a book, you know, we don't necessarily have case studies. We don't have these things. That's advertising. It's going out and studying the taco shop down in Roanoke. How do you actually create sales for this brand? Eating their product, understanding the competition. That's what advertising is all about. So, as I mentioned, I never worked in an ad agency. I'm not a technologist, but I started an ad agency and an ad tech firm. They were all very successful. And so when I first started 360i, a top sales guy came into my office. We were meeting with him to talk about some opportunity thought I had with Coca-Cola to run some ads. And at the end of the meeting, I'm just sitting in a shared office space with my business partner, and we had just left my job at IBM to start this company. And the guy said, well, this is great. He said, well, Dave, it's interesting because one is you've never worked in an advertising agency. He's like, you've never bought media before, but you've started an ad agency and you're trying to buy media. And I was like, okay, I never really thought about it that way before, but I was like, I guess you're right, you know? And when he left the office, I sat back and I asked my business partner, I was like, well, what did we just do here? I just finished graduating from my MBA program. I just quit like a 6-figure job. And I'm sitting here in a sublease space at a travel agency's office trying to sell banner ads and online media to these big brands back in 1998. Well, what happened was this guy that came into our office, his company went out of business, and we ended up being very successful. So I think in the space, what you'll find is that just because something you learned in an ad agency or something you learned in school, all of that becomes fairly irrelevant except for the principles. What really becomes relevant is understanding the industry, understanding the business, understanding the niche, going out there and getting out in front of the client, thinking ahead of where the industry is going to be and bringing those ideas in new and innovative ways. As during my introduction, Tucker introduced me. I'm an accounting major. So, once I graduated school, I thought I was good at accounting. I took the classes and I did pretty well in my accounting classes. And I worked at Price Waterhouse in Philadelphia. And when I first got there, I had to take the CPA exam, which they really don't train you for the CPA here at W&L. It's a lot of theory and all this other stuff. And I didn't realize how hard this was going to be. I'm working up in Philadelphia. All the guys there are from Penn State or Villanova. No one's even heard of W&L. I was like, wow, I went to this great school in Virginia, but no one knows who it is. And all these kids are really gritty up here in Philadelphia. And I'm trying to figure out how to take this CPA exam. And I studied my ass off to pass this exam. It took me a couple times, but I finally passed the exam. And I was like, I need to do whatever I need to do to get out of this industry. It's like, I hate it. I don't know what else to do. It's like, and that was the best sort of career experience for me, to do something. And even if you get out of school and you do something, it may not be exactly what you want to do. Having that experience, doing something, even if you don't like to do it, will help you on your career journey. So there's no mistakes that you're going to make as it relates to your career. As it relates to advertising, a couple things I want to share with you, and I'm going to dive into this presentation, is that to be great at advertising really comes down to a few things. One is kind of really studying the brand, knowing the brand, living the brand. What is the competition doing? Really know who the competition is, what's going on with the competition, what's the history of the industry. Like one professor I had at the Emory School said, you can't predict the future unless you know the past. So I say, as you get into these industries, really studying the past, trying to predict where the industry is going, understanding the dynamics of the industry and the competition. I mean, that's what you learn at business school. That's where you learn how to think. Those are the things that help brands take it to the next level. What is Facebook doing that's different than MySpace, that's different than these other social media sites on the web? Well, theirs really comes down to their like algorithm, their social algorithm, the connection. It's not just about having friends and liking friends. It's the connections of those people on social networks and the power that provides. What did Google do different from Yahoo? It's all about their algorithm in terms of their linking algorithm, or the algorithm that they use for their paid search that's highly differentiated from everyone else in the industry. So yes, they could be great and they could be in search and everyone's in search, but what do they do that's one thing that's a little bit different? So when you get in these businesses, there needs to be something that you do that's unique, that's different, that's highly differentiated from what everyone else is doing in the industry. What is that one thing? And I always think that relates to yourself when you're going out for a job. Okay, I've graduated W&L, I'm a business major, I'm such and such, but what is the one thing that makes me unique? And I think a lot of that comes down to your passions, your interests, your likes, things like that. In advertising, that's what it's all about these days. What is Facebook about? Facebook is about passions and interests. How do you connect with brands? Why do you like brands? Why do you love brands? It's because of a connection between your passion and interest in that brand's, and a connection with that brand and that level. What makes Google great? Google's great because it's based on intent. You're looking for something, you have an interest in something, you're specifically looking for it at that moment, and they connect you with that intent. So what I always say is Google knows what you want, Facebook knows who you are and what you like. So as I said, being the best at something. In this industry, the other thing I want to mention to you guys too is as you get into the industry, you get into advertising, ad tech, media companies. This is the one industry where you can double your salary within a year or two. When you go into advertising, you're going to get started, your salary is going to be okay. But once you have a year or two of experience, the industry is exploding. Your experience after a year or two will double, triple, quadruple within the first 3, 4, 5 years you're in the industry. From an employer's perspective, that's very difficult to deal with, and it's the reality. And if you can't compete with it, the employee is going to leave and go somewhere else. It's almost like day trading jobs. It's an exciting industry. So as you guys get into it, there is that opportunity, which I want to share with you guys. So I guess one last thing, I always look at niches. It's all about niches, being the best in one niche. And it's not forcing your way through these brands. It's like using your feel as you're kind of feeling your way through the brand, what works, what doesn't work. and focus. I always say, like I said it during the business stuff too, it's like focus to a fault. So these are the things that I kind of look for when I'm working with businesses, working with brands, and everything else. Okay, that's kind of the intro. That's the value add for today. So if there's one thing to take away, it's that. What I'm here for today really is to talk to you guys about a customer case study for a business that I work with. I work with a company called Cloud Tags. They're based out of Atlanta. They raised $4 million in venture financing. The guy that's the CEO of the company was my assistant when I started 360i, and I was paying him $22,000 a year to work for me as my assistant. Well, after that, he went on to actually become the managing director for our Atlanta office. He sold a couple of our largest accounts out of New York through NBC and a couple other brands. Then he went on to open up our technology office in London all by himself. Recently left 3 years ago to start Cloud Tags, which was his vision, which he saw in the digital space, is that there's all of this data in the online world for retailers. They're using this data to track what users are doing on websites, to optimize sales through advertising. But at the end of the day, what goes on in the offline world? What happens when you guys go to a store? What is that experience like? Who enjoys their shopping experience when they enter a store? Is it antiquated? You know? What does it feel like? I mean, that same experience you have today is the same experience I had back in 1980. You know, it's the same experience John had back in 1970. How much has that experience changed? You walk into a store, you walk the aisles, a sales rep comes up to you. What is that like? Is that a good experience for you guys, especially for people that are your age? You're used to being online, checking all these products, getting products remarketed to you, checking reviews, looking at pricing and all this different stuff. You know, wouldn't you expect the same when you go to the store? Is it too much to ask to expect for the same when you go to the store? Well, James Yancey, the CEO of Cloud Tags, started a company called Cloud Tags that basically brings offline experience into the online world. They use tablets. When you enter the store, you get a custom tablet from the store, and you shop within the store using that tablet, and it ultimately connects the offline experience with the online. So what we're seeing in the industry is this big trend. Do you guys know what the omni-channel means? Does that mean anything to you guys? Raise your hands. Okay, so omni-channel is a big trend. Omni-channel is no matter whether you're shopping online, on your mobile device, at your desktop, in the store, no matter where you are, it should all be the same. That experience should transition seamlessly. So if you are searching on the web, you walk into a store, you're looking for products, that company knows who you are across all those channels and delivers to you an experience that's consistent across all those channels. Very few companies are doing that today. What you're also seeing is big data, the collection of data, how that data is used to target you, to optimize information. One of the other big trends is 90% of all sales occur actually in the store. So all this stuff you hear about eBay, all this online shopping, Amazon, all this stuff, that's 10% of all total sales that occur is online. Does that seems a little understated, right? You would say, wow, that's like very, very low. Well, 90% is in the store. So from a retailer's perspective, they need to make sure that store experience is really maximized. Or once someone leaves a store, what happens to that customer? So that's the stuff I want to talk to you guys about today. The case study I have is a company called Made.com. Made is out of the UK. It's a venture-funded company. They're an e-commerce luxury provider of furniture, high-end retail-related products. And what Cloud Tags is doing for them is bringing Made.com into the offline world. So they're taking an online seller, bringing them into the offline world. That's a big trend these days. You'll see that with Amazon too. One of the big trends with Amazon is they actually want to build stores. They're talking about putting 100 stores out there. So you're looking at these huge e-tailers that have kind of grown up during the internet age. Now they're launching real stores. The real stores want to create online stores. They want to integrate their offline with the online. Or also what they want to do is downsize their stores, integrate more technology so they don't need as much square foot space. So as I mentioned, Made.com, UK specialty e-commerce retailer, designer furniture. They recently engaged with Cloud Tags. Cloud Tags has this tap-a-tag solution. You'll see this here, which is considered a tap wall. You use the technology, walk around, check out products, and be able to see all the different information related to the product while you're going to the store. These guys have a pop-up store, a small store, it's an experimental store that CloudTags is doing for them. What does CloudTags do? There's basically 3 steps. Basically, you enter the store, you're handed a tablet. The tablet, you go around the store, you tap the tablet on different tags or different icons around the store. Information's pulled into the tablet. What are the different products that you're looking at? What are the reviews of the products? It allows the store to capture your information, either your cookie information or even your email address. And then they go back, and once you leave the store, they follow up with you with emails. And then they also follow up with you with banner ads and all sorts of things to help convert the sale. But then they see you as one customer across all of these channels, which we find very interesting. This is a video kind of for the experience I want to share with you guys. This is actually at the Made store. This is in the UK, where Made is launching the brand. This is the sample store that you go into. This is an e-commerce retailer that just launched a pop-up store. These are the devices, the tablets that CloudTags is using for Made. Consumer will pick up the tablet. A sales rep will even work with a customer. They can even carry a tablet side by side to share information across the tablet for sales purposes. These are the tap tags. You tap those little icons and it pulls up all the product information, reviews, captures it in your shopping cart for you if you don't want to purchase actually at the store. This is an extended wall of all the products the company has online. So if they don't have the product in the store, you can actually review different products that aren't taking up real estate in the store. This is where they're entering their email address to opt in to receive more information, and this is the immediate email they get when they leave the store. With all the selections they had in the store, the ability to continue their shopping experience or else buy. Okay. So there's a few problems we're trying to solve, and I'm going to quickly go through this for you guys. This is the least interesting part. But when customers go into a store through a mobile device, and if they have only downloaded the app on their phone, only 1% of customers will use that app on their phone. That's one of the challenges CloudTag's trying to solve. The second one is retailers don't know what products you're looking at when you go to the store. So through this solution, they're tapping multiple products. The merchandising managers understand what you're looking at. It allows them to optimize the merchandising experience. The other challenge is when you walk out the store, they don't know who you are. So with this experience, once you leave the store, they can remarket to you with banner ads, with email to convert, and that increases sales by like 30%. 75% of all these emails are unique. They didn't know who these consumers were before. The performance on the emails is significant, and 8x over what they typically get. On the banner ads, 16x performance on that as well. The other challenge they're solving is for the sales rep. The sales rep typically doesn't get commission once the customer leaves the store. This allows them to track that customer through, receive commissions once the customer actually leaves the store, and creates an integrated experience. They can really understand what happens online and offline, and integrating and understanding that sales occurrence. What's next? CloudTags is rolling out multiple other pop-up stores, not only for Made, but they're also doing this for other retailers. They're helping other traditional retailers with their, with their offline to online experience. And what is the impact? Connecting these two stores' experiences, enhancing the experience, especially for Gen Y and Gen Z who expect this sort of experience. 30% increase in average order value. 85% of the emails were previously unknown to the store before. As I mentioned, 8x performance in email, 16x performance in banners, and average 20% of the consumers actually in the store will opt in to have this experience. So we really see this as the future. Cloud Tags is currently working in the US with Timberland, with Sub-Zero, and they just signed a deal with Crate and Barrel. Expect to see more of them as you guys are out there. So thank you very much.